Welcome to the Dr. Nurse Paul Show, hosted by Aspire RN and Dr. Paul. You are watching The Secrets of Next Generation NCLEX. Dr. Nurse Paul is an NCLEX expert, having trained and mentored thousands of international nurses past the NCLEX RN for over a decade. He graduated with a Doctor of Nursing Practice in Texas Christian University. He is a registered nurse, an advanced practice registered nurse, and a certified family nurse practitioner. He also has completed a certificate for nurse educator postgraduate course. Aside from teaching, he has extensive clinical experience in emergency and family medicine. He has over 15 years of combined clinical and academic healthcare experience. Dr. Nurse Paul is an immigrant from the Philippines. He is currently based in Houston, Texas, where he operates his business, Dr. Nurse Paul and Aspire RN NCLEX Prep. He loves to share his life story of how he overcame his challenges to reach his dreams. He is passionate in helping nurses realize the American dream. So without further ado, let's all welcome Dr. Nurse Paul.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Nurse Paul Show. This is episode 7 of the season 2 of The Secrets of Next Generation NCLEX. And today, the Next Generation NCLEX just went live all over the world. I'm not sure if there are people taking the exam today on a Saturday, but it's live now here in the US and everywhere in the world today. So we've been waiting for this for years, didn't we? And I've started this show about 6 months ago, or probably 7 months ago now, because it's already April. Okay. And the main purpose of this is to inform and educate nurses about the next generation NCLEX. But yes, it is a change, but we don't want to be scared about these changes. We want to be prepared, be confident, and be comfortable with these new types of exam items, of scoring system, and how next gen NCLEX will be done. All right. And this is not, I know it's April 1 today, but this is not an April Fool's. This is real. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. Next Gen NCLEX is already live around the world. So everybody who's taking the exam today, this morning in the United States, will be getting the Next Generation NCLEX version. All right. And if you guys have not watched my previous shows, we did a couple of shows since October last year. I did a lot of Secrets of Next Generation NCLEX shows. I talked about the different exam types. We're going to brush through them later. We talked about different, case studies and trends and bow tie questions, and we're going to run through them later. All right. And that's it. In the last couple of weeks, I was really busy preparing my April examinees from Aspire RN with their Next Generation NCLEX. So we did a couple of Next Generation master classes, and I'm very confident about my students. I know all of them will pass the April my April batch, my April examinees will all pass the NCLEX because I'm very confident with their performance, and they've become very comfortable with how next gen is. At the beginning, it's intimidating. It makes everybody anxious, but as you get comfortable with it, you'll develop more confidence with the NCLEX. Like I said, in the next gen NCLEX, the content did not change, right? For example, you talk about MI or seizure or stroke. They did not change. The managements are the same. The pathophysiology is the same, right? Signs and symptoms are the same. The only thing that's changing is the way the exam is delivered, okay? So we're going to talk about those changes today. Good morning, everybody. Shanda is watching from Jeddah. Thank you. Good morning, Edgy. Thank you for joining. Myrna, thank you for joining. Vanny. And Edgy is watching from the Philippines. Prexine is watching from Saudi Arabia. Can you guys tell me where you guys are watching from so we can mention you live? All right. Thank you for joining. Sorry for being a little late. I woke up late. Had a really good sleep. It's cold. and really comfortable. Michael is coming from the Philippines. JB, thank you for joining. And today we're gonna talk about um, what's changing with the next gen NCLEX, right? I've been waiting for this for a while, but at the beginning it gets very intimidating for students because of changes. Changes makes everybody anxious. But honestly, I enjoy doing my next generation NCLEX master classes with my students. For me, it's a more directed way of learning, especially with case studies, because you only focus on one case per 6 questions. All right. So which is good because you only talk about one disease. It's not going to be changing every time. But then again, that's only the case studies. You have trends. We're going to talk about that later. Weena is coming from Canada, and Jewel is coming from UK. I saw the flag. I'm not real good with flag, but I know the UK flag. And Edgy is our student in Aspire RN. Hi, Edgy. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you for trusting Aspire RN to your NCLEX needs. And I'll see you in the class. All right. Abu Dhabi, Bernadette, thank you for joining. Canada, Wena, Cheryl is from Philippines. Mary is also joining us from the Philippines. Gladys is joining us from Kenya, and she's in YouTube. Hi, Gladys. Thank you for joining me in YouTube. And we have Mary from Philippines, Carbell from Philippines, Mirna from Philippines. Thank you guys for supporting Dr. Nurse Paul Show. Jennifer from Philippines. Arlene is joining us from Jamaica, and Jennifer from Philippines, from Qatar. We are everywhere today. Thank you guys for joining me. And I have a major announcement. Today we're gonna have a giveaway of a DNP full course worth $550 from Aspire RN. So we're gonna have a DNP full course from Aspire RN. All right, for everyone who joins the live show today, you guys have a chance to win today's giveaway. I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted here, but all right, to join the show, you only need to do three things. First, follow and like Dr. Nurse Paul and Aspire RN in Facebook. We must be able to verify that. All right. Number two, you must share this show right now. You got to share this show to your Facebook pages or Facebook profile, and it has to be public. All right. It has to be publicly shared so we can verify that when we check your profile. And number three, write in the comment section hashtag Dr. Nurse Paul. You only need to do it once, hashtag Dr. Nurse Paul. And we will use an app called Comment Picker to randomize all your hashtags, and the comment picker will choose one. We're going to announce the winner later. Last month, during the month of March, I've given away 4 Dr. Nurse Paul full NCLEX course in my live show. And this month, we're going to give 2 in the Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX today and on the 3rd week. All right. But, all right, if you're not lucky today, join me in the following shows. We're going to give more Dr. Nurse Paul show. This is my way of giving back to the community to help people achieve their American dream. Some of my winners from last year and from my previous raffles and giveaways have already passed the NCLEX. I want to be able to help people. This is my way of doing that. And we want to be able to put out the word out there so more people can join us each show. All right. Because my advocacy is informing and educating nurses, particularly immigrant nurses like me. I wish there was a resource like this when I was starting. But because of that concern that, I came here in the United States, like I didn't have a lot of information of what I'm going to experience. That's why I put up this show. The whole Dr. Nurse Paul show is about connecting and helping immigrant nurses, particularly you guys that will be taking the NCLEX. So there are 2 parts today, Secrets of Next Generation NCLEX. That's every first and third Saturdays. And USA Nurse series is all about immigrant stuff, like, life in the US, career opportunities, reading contracts off of recruiters to make sure they're valid and legal, education, fatigue about work fatigue, work exhaustion, finding new jobs. We're going to talk about a lot of those things in USA Nurse series, all right? But for today, I want to focus on the next generation NCLEX. It's very timely because my first show for April lands on the same day that Next Gen NCLEX is. live. And in Aspire, we've seen tremendous growth and interest of enrollees from all over the world because of the next gen NCLEX, because of this show. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for supporting Dr. Nurse Paul show. Even if you're not my student in Aspire RN, that's okay. Just follow me on social media. I do live shows, free shows every now and then. And probably in the future, I'm gonna invite some of my instructors to do the class with me live. That would be fun. So that way you're not gonna get to accustomed with me, all right? That way we have different flavors, all right? My instructors, we have different strategies of how we conduct our NCLEX, all right? And Nurse Cisa is also here. She's already an Aspire RN student. Thank you, Nurse Cisa, for joining. Thank you for supporting and trusting Dr. Nurse Paul Inspire RN. I'll see you in class very soon. Um, and thank you guys. All right. And again, to join today's show, all you got to do is like Dr. Nurse Paul and Aspire RN. We're seeing more people join us today. All right. Share this live on your page. Share this live show on your page. Make sure it's public and comment hashtag Dr. Nurse Paul. All right. And we have Kamuda joining us from Israel today. My screen right here on my side is not working. Joining us from Israel, thank you. And who else is here? Let me see. Thank you to those who are joining the raffle. I see your hashtag, guys. Thank you so much. And Rhoda is watching from the Philippines. Hi, Miss Jonalyn. Thank you for supporting Dr. Nurse Paul. And Mahmoud is also here from Qatar. Thank you guys for joining us today. All right. And more people are joining the raffle. I see that Joe Marie is joining from Cebu City. All right. So for today, guys, we're going to talk about the changes to the next generation NCLEX. I have outlined here, all right, 6 major changes to the NCLEX. 6 major changes to the NCLEX. All right. We have the item types. We have the scoring system changes. We have test plan changes. We have minimum and maximum item changes. We have trends and case studies that we're going to talk about later. All right. So these are the major changes in next gen NCLEX. So mainly it's test delivery change. All right. There will be no change with how we study nursing. All right. Probably a little changes with introduction of case studies. There will be no significant changes to the contents and guidelines of management, to the changes in symptoms and pathophysiology. There will be no changes to those. The only change that will happen will be about test delivery, like what test item will you see, scoring system, and with the next generation master classes that I do with my students that will be taking the exam soon, um, they've gotten very comfortable with next gen NCLEX to the point that if I show them a question, they also know what type of scoring system and what strategy we're gonna implement to that certain type of question, right? So that's what it is. NCLEX is next gen NCLEX is mainly test delivery, which means I'm gonna give you tips later, which means you just gotta be accustomed, know how it looks like and how it feels like testing in the next gen NCLEX environment. All right. And to those who already enrolled in Aspire RN, thank you so much. In Aspire RN, we have the longest review program for my international educated nurses. Because, you know, a lot of IENs, it's us, immigrant nurses, fail the NCLEX because of mainly educational gaps, all right? Differences in education from US and outside US. So that's what I'm doing. We're doing the longest review program, all right? We have 42 live sessions. I don't know if anyone can beat that. Over 4 months, all right? You can expedite that if you want, but I have 3 different packages. My full course is 42 live classes over 4 months. You can extend up to 1 year. It's up to you. Or you can shorten that. It's up to you. I give you flexibility to do that. But 42 live classes undergoing 3 phases. Didactics is where we build our contents. Neural phase is where we master next-gen NCLEX contents and strategies and tips. And the precision phase is where we do our hit or high-impact tutoring final coaching. So 3 phases: DNP, Doctor, Nurse, Paul, didactic phase, neural phase, and precision phase. So that's how I do it. It's from my 16 years of experience as an NCLEX instructor. I've realized what the students needs at this point. And to tell you honestly, big agencies, big recruiters from the US have partnered with me. They bring me nurses all over the world, um, and they've made them their scholars under Aspire RN, and we're preparing them for the NCLEX. We've had great success using this formula that I've been using for several years. Plus, you get your personal mentorship, you get your own personal student advisors. We track your scores individually. All right. And it's a very fun learning environment. The environment that I use is very high technology, and also very intuitive, and so many other stuff. But yep, content wise, Aspire RN is the winner. If you want to pass the NCLEX, or especially if you're a retaker in the past, I want to give you one more chance to the American dream. Give me a message in Dr. Nurse Paul show. After this show, we're going to start responding to questions again. But these are the changes: item types, scoring system, test plan, minimum and maximum item strengths, and case studies. All right. And for the item types, I'm gonna zoom that in. All right. So you're not gonna see me for a bit. There will be 7 major types. The old school multiple choice that we know, it's multiple choice, basically one question with 4 options, and you're just going to choose one. There will be 3 different multiple response now. All right. Before, we only have select all that apply, or SATA. Right. And now we're going to have multiple select N. We're also going to have multiple response grouping, which is in a form of table. And then we have matrix or grid. We have matrix multiple choice. We have matrix multiple response. And then we have drag and drop. Drag and drop can be in the form of a table or in a sentence, like in a closed format. And then we have the drop down close as well, where you click a box and you select your answers from the box. It can come in the form of table and can come also in the form of rational type of question. We also have highlighting text in a paragraph, or highlighting text in a table. And then we have the bow tie. And of course, we're also going to see case studies in the next generation NCLEX. Okay. In the upcoming shows, my next secrets of next generation NCLEX, we're going to talk about all these item types and scoring. All right. And we're going to feature different questions per item type, so that way you guys are familiar. But for the scoring system, we're now using partial scoring. Before, it's called all or nothing, where you have to get all the answers in one question to get 1 point. Otherwise, if you have one mistake, so for example, select all and apply, and you miss 1 or 2, then your score is 0. So it's 0/1 before. But now we have partial scoring, where there is one question where you can get 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, depending on your performance. So we have the 0/1 rule, what I call point per correct answer. We have the plus minus rule, what I call right minus wrong answers. And we have the rational rule for scoring, which is point for paired answers. So by knowing the item types and scoring system, you're not going to get intimidated with NCLEX, with the next gen NCLEX, because you're already anticipating these types of questions and scoring. All right. And each type of scoring system and item types, I also teach my student how to answer that type of question, how to attack those types of questions. All right. So I'm going to run through some tips later that you guys want to take note of if you're taking the NCLEX. By the way, is any one of you guys watching right now? We'll be taking the NCLEX soon. Charles, thank you for joining us from YouTube, and he's from Uganda. Thank you so much for watching us and supporting Dr. Nurse Paul. Anyone here will be taking the NCLEX very soon. All right, please keep tagging your friends. So stand by if you're taking the NCLEX soon and you're not in my review program. I'm going to teach you tips, okay, in the following slides. So for the RN test plan, you can see there that the management of care decreased to 18%. It used to be 20%. Pharmacology increased to 16% from 15%. And safety and infection control increased to 13% from 12%. So the 2% of management of care went to pharmacology and safety and infection control each. So management of care, still the bulk of your NCLEX. You see that big cut of a pie, right? talks about ethical, legal, leadership principles, conflict resolution. It also talks about your emergency principles, disasters, prioritization, and delegation. And bulk of your NCLEX will still be about prioritization, even if it's next gen NCLEX. All right. And then you have your favorite, guys. Pharmacology is about 16%, almost, you know, as big as management of care now. So you're going to get more pharmacology. Over the years of teaching the NCLEX, the pharmacology is not decreasing. In fact, it keeps increasing over the years. So I'm not going to be surprised if after 3 years, we evaluate NCLEX every 3 years and change the test plan accordingly if we need to, or the NCSBN does that. I'm not going to be surprised if eventually the pharmacology will be same amount as management of care. But yes, there will be a lot of pharmacology questions. But then again, I also teach pharmacology in my class. But I also have one great instructor. She was my mentor in the past. We're going to teach you pharmacology if you join our class. All right. Or maybe I'll do another pharmacology free class in the future. All right. Last year I did one. It's still in my Facebook account. I think it's in Aspire RN Facebook account. Check all the videos. I did pharmacology class one time last year. It's a 4-hour class. All right. Safety and infection control, physiological integrity, reduction of risk potential, basic care and comfort, health promotion, psychosocial alterations all remain the same. Okay. So those are your components for the test plan. And in Aspire RN, we follow the client categories test plan based on the test plan, right? When we teach our classes. That way nurses would know, okay, what is this? This is physiological integrity. Here we're talking about management of care. All right. That way we follow the blueprint. And then the minimum maximum items will change from 75. The minimum is now 85. From 145, the maximum is now 150 items. You have to note that 15 items of these are pre-tests, which are not recorded, but you will not know which one of those are pre-tests. And what I tell my students, just keep taking the exam. You're not going to know what is pre-test and what is post-test anyway, right? So that's our minimum items and maximum items. And in the minimum items, 85 items, all right, 18 questions will be about case study. That's 3 case study. Per case study will be 6 questions each, all right? So each case study, 6 questions. Times 3, 18. 18 of your 85 items will be case study. So that makes it 15 items pre-test, 18 items case study, and the remaining 52 items will be standalone, which can be trends or bow ties. All right. So standalone question, which can be trends or bow tie. It could be still, the multiple choice or the old school SATA that we know from the NCLEX. That's your minimum 85 items. Now, if you go over 85 items and you keep taking the exam, because it's computer adaptive, you can stop anywhere after 85 or can go straight all the way to 150. You have 10% chance of getting a case study or trend question or clinical judgment question after your maximum item. For every 10 questions, you might get 1 clinical judgment or trends question. So that's it. No more case studies, but that's what they said. I'm not sure if they will do that, right? But you might get some clinical judgment trends types of question after your minimum item. So that makes it a little confusing, but remember you get minimum 3 case studies in your NCLEX. And case studies are intimidating, but it's fun. And now we talk about trends and bow ties. Trends are standalone questions, which means it's like a case study, but it's not 6 questions. It's only 1 question on your screen. So you might have to read the chart. You have to open tabs. You might have to read the whole case, which can be lengthy or long, but there's only 1 question to decide. It will not evolve. It will not lead to the next question. The next question will be different, all right? And bow tie is one of those very distinct NCLEX type of question that we will only see in the next gen NCLEX. You see it on your screen right now. This is the bow tie format where you have like a butterfly spread. You have in the middle your diagnosis, on your left side your action to take, on your right side your evaluative parameters, right? So there's techniques of how to answer that as well. We're going to talk about one bow tie question later. All right, and we are seeing more people join us today. Thank you so much for joining, Dr. Nurse Paul. If you want to join the giveaway today, you still have a chance. The mechanics are at the bottom. All right, like and follow Dr. Nurse Paul and Aspire RN. Make sure it's verifiable by letting us see who you follow, because some of you guys have privacy settings. We cannot see who you follow, so that will disqualify you from the show or from the giveaway, not the show. And two, all right. I'm waiting for the thing to go down. I mean to to come forward so I can read it. Share this live on your page and comment hashtag Dr. Nurse Paul. When you share this live show on your page, make sure it's verifiable, make sure it's public so we can see it. All right. And there will be one winner again of an NCLEX package from Aspire R in the Dr. Nurse Paul method. All right. Now, clinical judgment model. We're gonna have one question later, so stand by, nurses. All right. So for case study right here, we will use the clinical judgment model. It's 6 questions corresponding to the 6 steps. All right. We have your recognizing cues, analyzing cues, prioritizing hypothesis, generating solutions, taking actions, and evaluating outcomes. So each step will be one question in your case study. That's why each case study will have 6 questions. All right. More people are joining us today. Thank you so much for joining the Dr. Nurse Paul show. All right. And to be able to share this, you must be on my page on Facebook. All right. And in the future, guys, let me just tell you, we're also gonna do like specific Instagram only live show, TikTok only live show, LinkedIn only live show, and YouTube only live show. So follow me across social media to know where I'm doing my live show. All right. Because now we're only able to reach Facebook, but there are people in YouTube that also wants to join the show. All right, here's our NCLEX expert tip. Next Gen NCLEX expert tip from Dr. Nurse Paul. All right, step one, or tip number one, know the question and scoring type. I could not emphasize this further. Why am I doing this free information session, education session about Next Gen NCLEX? Why are many other educational organizations, schools, even NCSBN do these webinars about Next Gen NCLEX? Because it is important to know the questions and the scoring type. I put it this way. When you play sports, you do not only, for example, you play, say, basketball or baseball. So when you play baseball, you don't only just go into the court and play. You want to know the rules too, right? If you know the rules, you know how to play. Correct? Same thing with your Next Gen NCLEX. It will make you feel intimidated and scared at the beginning, but once you get more comfortable with how the questions look like, with how to attack questions, and what are the scoring types for each questions, you would know your way around Next Gen NCLEX. All right. So it's all about knowing these question types and scoring types. If you know the rules, you know how to play the game. What else? Read each situation carefully. You have to remember this, and I'm going to show you one question later. Some situations may be very long. All right. Some situations may be very, very, very long. All right. So we want you to read that carefully. What I want you to do, guys, is to focus and pay attention to details. Be patient, because now, because of the case studies and trends, the situation may be very, very long. All right. Especially if you have 5-hour time limit, that may make you anxious during the NCLEX. And another thing is because case studies can be very long, or trend questions can be very long, bow tie questions can be very long, you will be given a notepad on your actual NCLEX. Write down all pertinent findings on your notepad, all right? Because you can easily get lost by just reading. So what I want you to do, all pertinent findings, you want to write down, all right? That's what I do. Like when we're in the hospital, right? When you go rounds and see your patients, you want to write down what they're saying, because you're going to go back to chart that, to write that down or type that down on your computer. You don't want to forget details. Same is true with your Next Gen NCLEX. You use your notepad to write down those pertinent findings. All right? Write down those pertinent findings. And tip number 4, remember, it's telling you something. I keep telling this to my students. The longer your case is, the more specific that case is going to get. All right? The longer it is, the more things it's telling you. I like it when it's long, because it's actually telling me something that, if I'm reading 3 paragraphs and opening 4 tabs, that makes me or my suspicion or my differential diagnosis more accurate, right? When you see a long situation in front of you or a case, just relax, focus on the positive, and tell yourself, at least it's telling me something, right? More details, better answer for you or more accurate answer for you. And the last tip for today, practice with NGN tests. Practice with the NGN test environment, which means simulate your screen if you can, or at least practice with NGN types of questions like case studies or highlighting text or matrix. Matrix is all about comparing diagnosis, right? Or closed types of questions where you complete a sentence, all right? So very important to do that. Drag and drop. You have to learn the skills of how to do that. Matrix, multiple response. How do you do that, right? So very important that you know how to answer this. It's more like psychomotor skills now at this point where you're not only learning content, but you're also learning to adapt to the change in the environment, change in the screen, change on how questions are delivered and how they are answered properly. Okay? Did that at least help? If you have not picked that up, you can review this video later. This will be put up permanently on my Facebook and YouTube. You can also share this to your friends. This is recorded. Okay? Now, are you guys ready to take the quiz? We're gonna have a quiz. All right. We're gonna have a few more minutes to join the raffle. All right. So I think we're about to draw the winner soon. All right. So we're gonna give you last 3 minutes to join the raffle. The mechanics are at the bottom. Let's take a quiz, guys. Let's see this bow tie question right here. And I'm sorry, that's the biggest that I can get. Your NCLEX screen will similarly look like this. And I'm gonna read it for you. Okay, let's start with the case. The nurse in pediatric unit is caring for a 6-month-old client. Client admitted with increased irritability and leaking gastrostomy feeding tube, which was placed 2 weeks ago. Let's read it, all right? Or for failure to thrive. The feeding tube insertion site, which is on the left side of the abdomen, is covered with a dressing that is saturated with the old formula. On removal of the dressing, the skin surrounding the feeding tube site is erythematous and flaking. At the insertion site, a small amount of thick yellow drainage is noted and the feeding tube is loose. Peripheral pulses are weak. Capillary fill is 3 seconds. Extremities are cool to touch. Client is intermittently pulling at the tube and scratching at the site. Parent reports giving the client acetaminophen last night before bedtime, but the client was still intermittently waking and irritable throughout the night. Parent attempted to feed the client through the feeding tube 8 hours ago. Vital signs, temporal 100.6, that's a fever. Pulse 171, that's fast. RR 42, blood pressure 74/62, that's pretty low. Pulse oximetry reading 97%, and patient has a history of penicillin allergy. First observation, guys. First observation, is it long? Is the situation long? Yes, but remember our tips, right? Know the rules, know the question, know the scoring system. This is a bow tie. Read carefully, right? Write down pertinent findings. As I was reading it, you should be writing that down on your side. Just like if you're a nurse, right? A lot of you guys are experienced nurses. Migrant nurses are mostly experienced nurses coming over to the United States, which going to be is your advantage because you should have developed the critical skills already or critical thinking skills. All right. And what's that? So write down the pertinent findings, and the longer it is, the more it's telling you something, which is good. I know it's overwhelming at the beginning to see so much words. A lot of nurses get very anxious when they see long questions because they feel overwhelmed. But be focused, all right? It's telling you something, all right? And let's answer this question now. So complete the diagram by dragging from the choices below to specify what condition the client is most likely experiencing. Two actions the nurse should take to address the condition, and two parameters the nurse should monitor to address the client's progress. Thank you guys for those who are joining today. We've reached a lot of viewers in Facebook Live today. Thank you. And there are people joining us from YouTube as well. Thank you so much. All right, let's start with the middle. When answering bow tie, you start at the middle. All right? You start in the middle. Start in the middle. So you start with your diagnosis. What's your diagnosis, guys? Refeeding syndrome. Does it look like refeeding syndrome? Infection of the gastrostomy tube. Gastrostomy tube site drainage or findings. Gastrostomy tube feedings. Anyone? So we already have 4 people who've provided answers. How about the others? Still reading it, huh? So that's a problem. Imagine if you get so much trends, questions, and case studies and you only have 5 hours. Just be very careful because you can easily, you know, spend all your hours reading questions and you don't want to run out of time in NCLEX. That's really one of those things where you're more likely to fail than pass when you run out of time. All right. Infection of the gastrostomy tube. So if it's infection of the gastrostomy tube, let's now go to actions to take. Give me 2 actions that you want to take. It's 1 point per correct answer. So you're going to tell me your points later. This is a total of 5 points. All right. And we're going to wrap up the show very soon. Yes? Change the dressing, request wound consult. How about the others? I don't think we need to do an EKG here, huh? The child looks like the child's developing sepsis, right? Okay, so you're gonna focus on the wound, right? How about parameters to monitor? What's your parameters to monitor? Skin integrity. What else? How about your temperature? How about your pulse, right? How about your blood pressure? It's pretty low, right? Patient's already developing possible sepsis. Very good. Okay, now compare your answers to my answer. All right, you're gonna answer here in your actual NCLEX. You're gonna drag your answers. Sorry about the sound for whatever reason. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but the lawn mower is here in my neighborhood today. All right. Well, you're gonna drag your answers up to the boxes. You're gonna click and drag just like you would in any of the applications in your computer. Click and drag to the boxes. All right. So beginning in the middle, followed by actions to take, and then parameters to monitor. All right. So compare your answers to me. I know a lot of you guys said request a wound consult. That is correct. And some of you guys said change the site dressing. All right. So listen, I'd start with bolus first because the patient is already developing early signs of sepsis, right? So bolus fluids first. The blood pressure is already very low, 74/62. And sir, why are we not doing change the site dressing? Request for a wound consult first, right? Because they might order culture of the dressing and the site. If you change that and clean that, then what are you going to culture? We need to culture the site because what if it's MRSA, right? And MRSA would need stronger medicines, antibiotics, right? So do not touch the dressing first. We are going to change that eventually. The kid is going to receive IV antibiotics eventually, which is very important for sepsis management. But do not forget your blood pressure. I've highlighted that earlier and said your blood pressure is low. Remember, you still prioritize your ABCD or airway, breathing, and circulation. All right. D is disability or neurologic status. And then request a wound consult. Your doctor will call a wound physician. That way we can get directives. Do they want cultures for that? Do they want us to change the dressing? All right. We will eventually change that, but we need to have the wound team on board first. All right. That way we're in the same, page. It's all about collaborating with other specialties. All right. So do not forget your bolus. A lot of people forgot about that. And I think we're done. Do you guys have questions? Do you guys have questions? Don't forget your ABCs managements first. So your fluids is very important in this case. Yes, you need to start bolus. The kid is already 74/62. That's a 6-month-old baby. And your pulse is a little elevated. It's above 160. We don't like that. And the fever is also high. All right. And Marinol said more of this. Yes, we're gonna see more of that as we do more next gen um, NCLEX shows in the future. Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX, and I already did a lot of shows. Just view my YouTube or Facebook. It's all in there. All right. This question is scored 1 point per correct. So there's a total of 5 points. There's no deduction for errors. There's no deduction for errors. Don't worry. This is not a right minus wrong type of question. All right. So you can relax. You only get points for every correct answer. The incorrect answers, you don't get points. So how many scores? What's your score, guys? How many points did you get? All right. So that the bow tie is always connected. Whatever you answer on the middle will be connected to the left and to the right. So you see, your priority in your evaluation is skin integrity. That connects to your requesting wound culture. See, your priority in your actions is IV fluids. That connects to your vital signs every 30 minutes. There's connection to everything. You got me? So gastrostomy tube, then your request wound culture or consultation, skin integrity. On the other side, it's bolus of fluids. And then lining up with it is vital signs every 30 minutes. All right, very good. 4 is a good answer. 4 is a good score. All right. Okay, I think we're ready to announce the winner today. Let me see if my team is ready. Hold on. I have a monitor screen here, my iPad, but in the middle of the show, it started freezing. So, yep, I couldn't use it. Okay, I think we're ready for the winner for today. No worries, guys. Guys, I did a lot of case studies. I think I did 5 or 6 case studies in the past already, plus trends and another bow tie question and more important, tips and strategies that I did over the show. This is our season 2, episode 7. So all in all, I already did 12 or 13 shows since October, only for Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX twice a month. First and third Saturdays of the month, and every Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX, there's always one winner of NCLEX full price package. So this is our season 2 episode 7. So all in all, I already did back to the community. All right. But yes, please view my other shows that will help you, guide you with all those shows. There's a lot of information that I shared already in the past. Okay. And yes, very important. Kamuda talked to me in Filipino and he said, I think I need to read a lot for our international viewers. And that is very important. Yes, it is very important to improve your contents so you get comfortable and confident with Next Gen NCLEX. Again, Next Gen NCLEX is just another way of testing you. All right. But I thought my computer shut down because it went black for like 5 seconds. I'm sorry. All right. That's one of the things that I'm scared about during live shows. All right. But if you improve your contents, mastery of contents for the NCLEX, then you should be good with your next gen. It's just a little practice. Okay. All right, now we're gonna announce the winner, and the giveaway winner for today is drum roll, Val Cancino. Is that Val? All right, Val, thank you for joining us today, and please message us, Dr. Nurse Paul. All right, and Facebook right now, and we will give you instructions of how to claim your prize. All right. Thank you, Val. Thank you for joining everybody. And please, we're gonna flash right now our future shows. Okay. Our future shows, we will have shows in the next couple of days. Hold on. All right. Here's our future shows, guys. Today's April 1. This is What's Changing. This is the Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX What's Changing. April 3, on Monday, I'm going to do a show with Kinetics College, which will be live streamed in their page. I'm going to share it to my page as well. I'm going to do a case study that I did in the past in my own show, but I'm going to do it for Kinetics College. April 8th, April 8th is another USA Nurse Series. This is going to be next Saturday. I'm sorry, I'm trying to read my screen. My charger was unplugged here on my side when I moved, so the screen went a little dark. USA Nurse Series Living the American Dream next Saturday. We're going to talk about travel nursing. Wow, this is very exciting. All right. And I used to travel nurse. I stopped working now as a nurse because I'm focusing in my company, in my next gen NCLEX students. All right. And what's this? We're going to talk about travel nursing. I'm going to bring in some of my friends, Nurse Juan from YouTube, Travel Nurse Hacker, Miss K, Nurse Anna, and Nurse Marvin. We're going to bring a lot of travel nurses to talk about how to travel nurse as an immigrant nurse and the experiences, the pros and cons of travel nursing. You want to know about travel nursing, guys? And we love travel nursing. So we're gonna share to you guys our tips of how to travel nurse here in the United States, right? And then, of course, April 15, we're going to talk about the partial scoring system for Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX. There will be one winner again on April 15. And on April 22, we're going to do another show of USA Nurse Series, Living the American Dream, Nursing Shortage in the US. We're going to talk about nursing shortage. Is it real? Is it not real? Why are we hiring a lot of immigrant nurses? Are immigrant nurses really needed in the US? We're going to talk about that on April 22. And please tune in and follow Dr. Nurse Paul. Tell your friends to follow me. Next month is going to be Nurses Month, right? May is one big month for everybody because it's the International Nurses Month. It's also the birthday month of the mother of nursing, Florence Nightingale. So I will be announcing one big thing that we will be doing on May. All right. We're going to do 2 shows a week on May, Wednesdays and Saturdays. All right. We're going to be launching a virtual job fair for international nurses where we will bring in recruiters to sponsor your NCLEX, your IELTS or English exam, and your immigrant sponsorship. So we're going to bring in all those recruiters in my show. All right. To tell you their job offers and how you can apply to them, right? And then, of course, there's going to be winners of NCLEX free package, free full course during those live shows. So watch out for it. Please keep supporting and following Dr. Nurse Paul. This is going to be big. This is the first time I'm doing it, but I want to make it special for nurses because you guys are very brave. What you're doing for our patients, for our community, for our families is very noble. It's a very noble profession. I miss still going to the bedside, but right now I'm just busy focusing on my NCLEX students. But eventually I will go back to the bedside again. I miss working in the ER, right? But thank you guys for joining us today. And again, follow Dr. Nurse Paul. We're going to put up all these shows every Saturday. And on May, we're going to do big shows twice a week for the Nurses Month. And there's going to be a lot of prizes and giveaways, full NCLEX courses, UWorlds for free, and some gift cards. All right. So keep following Dr. Nurse Paul. The announcements will be made. I'm still wrapping up the details, but the announcement will be made mid-April. Okay. And please share that to your friends. To get notified of our announcement, make sure that you click Dr. Nurse Paul, follow Dr. Nurse Paul to get notified with our announcements. All right. And we'll answer the questions later. Thank you, guys. There's one question. Hold on. Before I end the show. For SATA would be applicable for all questions. No, SATA is now right minus wrong. We're going to talk about that in the next Secrets of Next Gen NCLEX on April 15. All right. So that's going to be a right minus wrong question. All right. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you guys. You have a great day. You have a great weekend. I'll see you in the next Dr. Nurse Paul show. Bye.
You have just watched the Dr. Nurse Paul Show. Watch us live every Saturday, 8 a.m. Central U.S. Time. For more info about our future events, follow us on our social media channels. You can find us at Dr. Nurse Paul on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. See you next week.